Hi there, it's Sean Humphreys here. I'm going to take you on a ride today. We went out from New Denver, BC to Kaslo, British Columbia, and back, about 46 kilometers one way. So just under 100K for the day, about 3,000 feet of climbing. It's a beautiful, punchy ride. So I'll take you on the ride today. Every once in a while, I'll interject myself with a few comments on the ride. And for those of you that like road riding and hilly terrain, beautiful terrain, New Denver, Kaslo is a great area to visit. Right now, going through the town, and pretty soon we're going to go. There's a steep climb that goes out of New Denver as we approach the route to go to Kaslo, and it's kind of a rude wake-up call. Because usually you don't have time to warm up. So let's see how this goes. So the grade right now is 6%. Now 8, 9%. Yeah, it's always a rude awakening. It's a beautiful day today. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so it's good to get this ride in. Okay, so enough of me talking about the ride. It's not going to get steeper, so I'll set up the camera eventually to give you some shots of the rest of the ride. This is the last little bit of me working hard for you, so it's getting pretty steep here. And once I get to near the top of this climb, I'll show you some additional views of Luke and the rest of our ride, so I hope you really enjoy it. This is pretty typical of portions of the ride. It's sort of like a false flat. It looks flat, but there's usually a 1 to 2% grade. It gets really punchy later on, but look how beautiful this is. This is wonderful forest area in the mountains. Every once in a while we'll come across some great lakes that we'll ride beside, and you'll see that later on in the videos that go by some of the lakes. It's just spectacular. The first part of this ride, like I said, is really, really punchy. We probably, for the first hour, do probably close to 400 meters of climbing. And then eventually, after about an hour, hour and a half, we get into a slow sort of 2% to 1.5% decline into Kaslo. We're just flying, so it's a lot of fun. We were really fortunate for this ride. We missed a lot of the traffic because we got off in good time. You can see the road here in this section a little bit sketchy. We've got the barricade on the right, so there's not a lot of room to maneuver if you're going at traffic coming behind you and the traffic coming the other way. But you can see that it can get pretty tight at times. That's only a downside to this particular bike route. But it's even worse with another route we go on, which is to Slocan. Again, you can get some big trucks going back and forth, but on this day, it was awesome. We didn't have too much traffic to deal with. So this is another example. You can see the barricades on either side in these corners. So again, if there's traffic, there's not a lot of room to get to the side. So again, you have to be aware, and the mornings, early in the morning, is probably the best time to head out on these roads. After doing some of the climbing, you'll hit these little sections here where we're on a downhill descent. It's not super extreme, but it makes for fun riding, and it's a lot easier. We're about to come to a section of the ride out in the first hour where we really get some really fun, fast downhill sections, and you've got to really pay attention, and obviously your equipment has to be in good shape. You don't want to flat going down some of these descents, so enjoy. This is part of the benefit of working hard, getting up to a certain point in an ascent, and then going downhill. Well, that was fun. The moral of the story is don't follow your lead if it goes across the yellow line. I guess he had lots of time. I didn't, so I had to cut back into the right lane. This section is what epitomizes this ride for me. It's a combination of a road by a lake with mountain scenery. It's absolutely spectacular. So you can't help but reduce your stress by focusing on these images, and this is a great memory shot in terms of these rides. So enjoy. So this is an example of one of those punchy climbs. This climb, again on video, it's hard to really see it, but it gets up to, it's 9 degrees right now. incline. It gets up to 12 and 13 and almost 14. So for someone like me, um, I'm not a skinny little cyclist. I have to work pretty hard. Luke's already gotten up. He just flew up to the top of this thing. He's a light, fast little guy. So I'm working hard, and eventually you get to a little sort of section which sort of levels off. And great section to kind of stop, have a drink, rest maybe a little bit, and then continue with the ride. But this first half of the ride from New Denver to Kaslo, this would be an example. This is a little more extreme, but this is an example. Very punchy, ups and downs, and then we'll eventually get to the point where probably just over the hour mark, hour and a half mark, it is a steady sort of 1 to 2% decline all the way into Kaslo. So you're going probably anywhere from mid 30s to mid 40s kilometers per hour going in. And there's Luke waiting for me, feeling sorry for the old guy. We had a chance to ride for a little bit with a fellow from New Denver, and I later on found out that he owned some cabins for rent in New Denver, and apparently he's a photographer, so he was off to do some photography shoots that day. And I don't know, he's probably a gentleman in his 70s, but he was super fit and had lots of pack on his bike, and he was just flying down this stretch of road, so it was nice to have a chance to visit people along the way. So Luke's dad, Murray, had already started on his ride. So he had started at least a half an hour before we left New Denver for Kaslo. So is at this point we're trying to figure out whether we do a time trial to catch him. This gentleman said that he was probably about 10 minutes up the road. So in the end, we decided that we would just go as hard as we could, see if we can catch Murray, and off we went. Well, we eventually caught up with Murray, who made really good progress, and we rode together for the remaining section into Kaslo. It was a really beautiful ride. We had fun riding together. We're finally into Kaslo, and we're coming up to kind of the main drag that takes you into town. So Luke's right here at the stop sign. He's about to turn. So we're going to head over to the right here, and we'll eventually get into a downhill road that goes right into the town, which is sort of at the edge of the lake here. Video probably won't give you a true sense for how steep this is. It's pretty steep. It's probably anywhere from 9 to 13% grade downhill. So we flew down here. Again, these downhills are fun. we got down to the bottom of the hill, and we're into town now. We're going to go left, and we just kind of fall down this road to the a parking lot right by the lake. So this town of Kaslo is kind of nestled into a lake area. It's just beautiful. You can see the mountains in the background. So we'll go down to the edge here and get the view. Like I said, there and back from New Denver to Kaslo is about just not quite 3,000 feet of climbing, and I think it's around 92, 93 kilometers there and back. Ride feels easier on the way back. It feels a little bit harder on the way out. Look at this view. It's just gorgeous. So we're going to take in the view and then have a cup of coffee. So we got down to a little hidden away coffee shop and kind of parked ourselves for some delicious coffee. We picked up some pastries as well. There's Luke enjoying his break. And then after we did that, we tootled around the town a little bit. So there's a few images. The first image here is just of a railway with a caboose, and they're also doing some refurbishments of a paddle wheel boat on the lake. And again, another shot of the incredible views out in Kaslo. So great time. What's your thought of the day, Murray?
I don't have one.
No thought of the day?
No.
How about peace and tranquility?
Tranquility. Fire!
Oh, there's a fire.
Fire in the hill.
Absolutely amazing ride. Bit of a bit of a headwind here, but on the way back it's just absolutely gorgeous, quiet. Feel very fortunate to be on these roads. Look at that scenery behind me. Gorgeous. Well, that's it for my little review of our ride from New Denver to Kaslo and back. Absolutely incredible ride. If you're into road riding and you want some beautiful scenery and a challenging ride, this would be a great ride to do. And I hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit long-winded, but I wanted to give you enough images and commentary that you get a sense for the riding out here. And it's absolutely spectacular. So wishing you all the best in your adventures. Make sure you ride safe, have fun. Here's to your health. All the best.